So it said it was going to be 90 and sunny today, but it looks like I picked the only 30-minute window where the clouds are in the way to go do this, which is a little bit of a bummer because I am definitely working on trying to even out this tan. But that's all right. It is pretty hot outside, so I am definitely grateful I'm doing this without all my clothes on. Because it would be a lot harder if I had a big t-shirt on absorbing all this sweat. But I'm actually doing a little bit better on my pacing here. So my heart rate now, like when I first started doing this a couple weeks ago, I was maybe like scratching like 120, which is kind of the start of the heart rate range I want to begin at. And the pace was like over 18 minutes, but now we're closer to 17 minutes per mile and the heart rate's closer to 130. Got up there fairly quickly within the first 10 minutes. It wasn't that hard to do, so things are improving in that regard, which is very nice. And there's kind of a progression with the cardio over time too. A lot of people don't do it enough to realize that, but like your body your body's gonna find a way to make it easier to do the work being done. Eventually, I mean, you could do so much that it's too hard to do that, but you know, we're talking hours and hours of cardio. So like just doing, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes right now, it's really not hard to do. So, you know, like it wasn't hard to begin with, but it was a little bit more strenuous. Right now I'm doing better work with my time and my heart rate, and it's feeling even less strenuous than when I started. But that's kind of just because I was not adapted to doing this. It had been quite a while before I reintegrated morning cardio like this. It's getting better. So something I saw that there's like a Lollapalooza performance, which I've never been to anything like that. It's not really my jam. But I saw some performer went on stage and they had people from my old gym, Rockwell Barbell, up on stage with them lifting weights during the set, which is a little weird, but not too crazy to have people doing that. And I don't know why they grabbed Rockwell people to go on stage, because that's terrible. Like they're all really fat and tatted from head to toe and just gross looking. So I'm surprised you wanted to demonstrate a display of weightlifting with a bunch of slobs. But also, they had some actual bodybuilders from Quad's gym, which is another LGBT, look, I don't remember all the letters. I really don't care that much, but there was another gym like that. So I don't know how many of those types of gyms actually exist in Chicago. Maybe not that many. That could be why they asked them, but I find that weird. And also they had this girl, Inez, up there with the owner and his girlfriend. And she's not even a member of that gym anymore. But I know why they asked her. It's because she's a contender for the strongest woman in the world title. So that makes sense why they would ask her to be up there. Their actual members don't really have much to show for themselves. So kind of hard to ask them to participate. And like whenever that gym has had some kind of like prominent powerlifting individual show up to work out at their gym, that's kind of where a lot of their advertisement goes in the direction of, because high level people are not sticking around that gym to train. It's kind of like, that gym's kind of like an average Joe's gym, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. Nothing wrong with that, but you know, they're masquerading as a competitive powerlifting gym, and honestly, everyone there is just kind of a delusional drug addict, so there's that. But either direction, I think that's pretty cool. They got the opportunity to do that. That is pretty sweet. I think I'd be very anxious if I ever got asked to do that. I'd obviously have to get much better at what I do. But stuff like that seems like a cool opportunity to take advantage of. So that's definitely cool. And it's definitely really cool for Inez because she's actually strong. So she should feel good about being up there. But the other one's not so much. I hope the gym owner watches this, because honestly, fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. But anyway, we're getting back at it right now, and the body fat, got to transition subjects here. I can't just, have things to say about them forever. They're really not that important. But anyway, so the body fat level, obviously still too high. I kind of feel like I might be a little bit behind for how many weeks out I am, but I'm not too concerned right now, because my coach has not said anything, and he does this with hundreds of people all the time, so he would know best. I think if I really was lagging too far behind, I think he would actually call me and be like, hey, we got to pick a different show, we need more time. And I would be very receptive to that kind of feedback. I'm not too hell-bent on making November 2nd the day I have to be up there. It's just a convenient time for a show. It's before Thanksgiving, but I believe there's another one that would give me a national qualification that's a month later. So I'm not too hard pressed, because if push comes to shove, I could opt into that second show, and 4 more weeks should be more than enough time. I feel like, if anything, if I were to be off, I'd miss the mark very slightly, not by a lot. So, an extra 4 weeks would be way more than enough time if I need it. But that's kind of one of those things you can't really get too anxious about when you're kind of catastrophizing everything, and you kind of just got to let time play out, because it may not even be as it seems, and you could have just been being a bit too anxious about the situation at the time being. It's good to give it some time and just chill out. It's not that big of a deal. I think it would be a big deal if you showed up to a bodybuilding show looking like crap, because the whole purpose is portraying the best version of your physique that you could. So if you just showed up grossly out of shape and stuff, it's a bit disrespectful. It's kind of like you didn't even try, and it definitely is embarrassing. But if you're just a little watery, but pretty much all the way there in shape, you definitely missed your peak. It's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. That's definitely not what I'm going for. I don't want to make it sound like I'm just being nonchalant about being mediocre. I'm definitely not trying to be mediocre. I'm trying my best to succeed at this thing. But if push comes to shove, there are possibilities out there. And I'm okay with them, because I have a lot of different plans that I could implement to have the end result I want. And if I'm being honest right here, I think I should have no problem with the national qualifier. I think that'll be fairly easy to win my class in. However, on the actual national level, I don't think I'm big enough yet. I think I'm maybe a year or 2 at most off from being big enough to be a contender there. Right now, I feel like I'd probably get stomped on by actual seasoned national competitors, but that's all right. Excuse me, haha, almost got me picking my nose on camera. But it's good to put yourself out there, because it's I have to earn my place to go to nationals. So even if I don't do well there, I'm definitely good enough to surpass the stage right before then. But it's kind of you've hit the new level now, and you need to progress till you reach the ceiling of whatever that is. So it could very well end up taking a year or 2 more, but it's nothing crazy. I think if I was actually trying to do super heavies and bodybuilding, I think that might take 5 more years of me really being on it and having minimal injuries. Because you're talking about being, 250 plus shredded. Probably for me, it'd have to be over that, because I'm taller. That'd take so much time to get that big. But classic physique, which is what I'm most interested in, there's quite a few of those guys that their body parts are passable, but really the reason why they're a professional is because they have one body part that stands out quite a bit. You might be the big arms guy, or in my case, I have big lats, in comparison to everything else. So I think that would definitely stand out. But like some guys get away with smaller upper bodies and really big lower bodies. Vice versa works as well. But I mean, those body parts, they're still very developed. They're just not in synchronicity with the other ones on the body. So that's an important distinction there. Because it's not like you could just have a jacked upper body and have legs that look like you barely train. You're not going to do well like that. But sometimes things are just good enough to be passable and other stuff really sticks out. And that's where you run into a few guys like that. I mean, I would like to not become one of those guys. I want to have the most well-rounded physique. But if push comes to shove, I'm not embarrassed by the rest of my body. It just so happens that my lats are bigger. And they're not the biggest lats. They're not. But compared to everything else on me, they're pretty big. And that's all right with me, because I really thoroughly enjoy back training. I think that could be part of the reason why my back's so developed, because I enjoy it so much. But I mean, I just have a really good connection with my back. And other muscle groups like my biceps, not so much. And I try very hard to improve the connection with my muscles when I do biceps and stuff like that. But I never feel like it's as good as it could be compared to like other people with good arms. But you got to put in your full effort there. And I think one day I will have mastered that balancing act, but I have not yet. I do really like a big change probably for me is if, like in the past, if someone told me to do a certain movement, like I'm doing that movement, no questions asked, whether I feel it or not. And now, like just doing the best I could bodybuilding wise, a big change with that is cutting the fat out of the routine. So the things that I was not feeling very much at all, like those exercises have to go, and strictly do ones where I feel a good connection and good contractions in the muscle I'm targeting. And that's really a shortcut to grow right there. But you also have to be experienced enough to know when it's okay to cut the movement. You can't be new in the gym, or even if you trained for a couple years, that's still kind of new. You can't be at that stage and be like, oh, I'm not feeling this exercise very much, it's got to go. Because you're so new, you just haven't built up the connection with any exercises enough yet to accurately make that call. But if you've been lifting for many, many years, several years, if you will, then you have a better idea of what exercises serve you and which ones don't. And you have a ton of experience to accurately make those assessments. It's a good distinction to make, because I don't want newer people out there to think like, oh man, I have to start cutting out deadlifts and squats because I just don't feel them. It's like, nah, you need to learn how to do those right. You probably will feel them once you learn how to do them right and you get a little experience in. But right now you're not feeling shit, so don't even think about that. And that, honestly, that's what all this is like. It's a good example of what has been going on with a lot of beginners, just kind of like twisted up with being unsure with what to do in the gym. It's because there's so much goddamn content out there, and a lot of it's more nuanced and targeted towards more experienced individuals, but the newer ones are consuming that as well, and they're getting all jumbled up and very discombobulated on knowing what and what not to do. So remember, if you're newer, just go to the fucking gym, do your main compound lifts, train hard, go home. It's really all you got to do. You don't even have to go that many times a week if you're new. You can go 3-4 times a week. That's more than enough. It's probably better that way, honestly. You want to give your body a little bit of time to not just rest, but adapt. Because every time you hit squats or something again, you're getting better at doing those squats, even if it's by an unrecognizable amount. So just Be patient with it. That's really all I could say about that. It's hard though. It's hard because you want to be big. You want to be big right now. But the way to get big the quickest is to do the hard shit and do it well. Do it like you love it. Even stuff you hate to do, just do it like you love it. It's a shortcut to improvement right there. Anyway, guys, a little bit longer of a video. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna trail it back to my apartment and eat my breakfast. So hope you have a good rest of your day. I will catch you on the next one. See ya.